three kids we called the Railway Children could ever have dreamed how important this here station were going to be in their lives. See, at first, when their story begins, they were living in London. Right posh they were, you know, loaded with money. They were their mum and dad, Phyllis, who they called Phil, Peter, and of course Roberta, who they called Bobby. Their story really starts one evening when there were a knock at the door and these two big fellas stood there. They wanted to see their dad, and they chatted to him for half an hour before he went off with them. Well, their mum was right upset, I can tell you, though she didn't let on to the three kids. And about a month later, when Dad still hadn't come back, Mum told him that he'd gone away on business, government business, and he'd be away for some time. And worst of all, for a while abroad, they hadn't much money, so they had to sell up and move to a small cottage up here. And that's what happened. Late one night, after a long journey, they arrived at my station.
Well, here we are, my lovelies.
Are we getting a cab?
Peter, you won't find any cabs in the country.
No cabs!
I'm afraid we're going to have to walk.
But it's so dark. Where are the gas lamps?
No gas lamps either, Phil. Not in the country.
No gas lamps?
No, darling. Now come on, the walk won't take us long.
I'll carry the heaviest case if you like, Mother.
That's all right, Peter. You just take that one.
Oh, I'm tired, Mummy.
Well, we'll soon be at the cottage, my lovely, and then you can have a nice meal and we'll all go straight to bed. Isn't this exciting?
It's ever so dark, and there's no one about.
That's because it's very late.
What was that?
An owl.
Take my hand, Phil.
I'm not frightened of the dark. You can all follow me if you like.
Peter, do you know where you're going?
Yes.
Where?
Over here.
No, darling, it's this way.
Oh, yes. Well, that's what I thought.
Come on.
Oh, just a minute. My bootlace has come undone. Not again.
Isn't this a lovely night? It's much nicer than smelly old town, isn't it?
Wait for me.
And it wasn't long before they arrived at the Three Chimneys cottage. It doesn't take much brain power to see why it was called Three Chimneys, does it?
There, you see, we're here already. Ah, Mrs. Riley's left us the key under the doorstep. There. Oh.
Ooh, isn't it spooky? Oh, I can't see anything.
Peter.
It's only joking. Good boy. What was that?
I expect it'll be some poor little field mice.
Field mice? Only field mice?
They'll be as frightened as you are. Now, shall we have some light?
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, candles. Ah, Mrs. Viney's left us some on the table. There.
Is there no gas light?
I'm afraid not, darling.
Oh, it's so cold, Mummy.
Oh, we'll light a fire later. Isn't this fun?
Yes.
It's quite the adventure, isn't it? There now. This looks much cosier. Now, are we all hungry?
Oh, yes.
I asked Mrs. Viney to leave us some bread and meat and things for our supper. I expect she's left it in the kitchen, which you might like to go and find.
In the dark?
I'll give you a candle. Have a look around the house, like an adventure.
I'll go with Roberta. Oh, in that case, I'll go with Roberta as well. They weren't really field mice, were they? They were probably rats.
Peter?
There's no carpet in here either. Just flagstones.
Have you found it, children?
It's not in here.
Well, what a terrible thing to do. She's just walked off with all the money and not got us anything to eat at all.
Shan't we have any supper?
Oh yes, only it'll mean unpacking one of the cases we sent on.
Where?
Over there.
Shall I help you, Peter?
No, I can manage quite well, thank you very much.
I'm sure you can, but I'll help you all the same.
It's locked.
Yes, it's been nailed down.
Where's the hammer?
I'm afraid it's inside the box.
What are we going to do then?
Get me that coal shovel over there, and the poker. I'm sure we'll be able to manage. Ooh. Thank you.
Do be careful, Mother.
Let me do it.
I can manage, Peter.
Mind you don't hurt your hands.
I wish Father were here. He'd get it open in 2 shapes. What are you kicking me for, Bobby?
I wasn't.
There. You see? No trouble.
I think that Mrs. Viney's a horrible woman, not to leave us any supper.
Yes, well, I'm glad I packed all the odds and ends out of our store cupboard.
Here's a tablecloth.
And some knives and forks.
I'll set the table.
I'll help you.
What have we got for supper, Mother?
Well, I think it's going to be quite the oddest supper we'll ever eat in our lives. Let's see. We've got Marie biscuits, sardines, candied peel, cooking raisins, preserved ginger, and marmalade.
I think it sounds delicious.
Well, maybe not delicious, but it'll have to do.
Here's some ginger wine.
Oh, lovely. This is going to be quite the feast after all.
Have we any glasses?
Let's just use the willow pattern teacups for now. Can you see them?
They're here.
Open the ginger wine. That's it. Hold up your cups. And let's toast to our new home. To our 3 Chimneys cottage.
To our
3 Chimneys cottage. Oh, I wish Father were here. What's that?
Sounds like a train.
Oh, it looks like a toy engine from here, Peter.
Oh, yes.
It's so small and dark, almost like a ghost train.
Tomorrow we must go down the railway and have an explore.
Yes, we must.
I wonder who's on it.
Lots of people, I expect.
Maybe Father.
Don't be silly, Phyllis.
I'm not being silly. Mother, could it be Father?
Come and finish your supper, darling. You must be very hungry.
Don't do that.
You see, it is an exciting place to be, isn't it, children?
I'm not hungry anymore.
Oh, Phil, you must try and eat something. Here, have a biscuit.
Oh, no, thank you.
Oh, Phyllis! Oh.
But no, not my fault it's so dark in here.
Look, Phil, go and get a tea towel from the kitchen. We'll mop it all up, there's no harm done.
It's not my fault there isn't any gas lights.
Phyllis?
Well, it isn't. Oh, Mummy,
Oh, what is it, darling?
this tray is full of food. Lots of lovely, lovely food. Look.
Oh, we'll bring it in here, darling. Well, would you look at that? And all those awful thoughts I had about Mrs. Viney. Look, children, she's done us proud.
And so began their lives at the 3 Chimneys cottage. The following morning, bright as 3 new pennies, they came down to the station. All aboard for the 9:34 to Manchester.
Morning, Mr. Puck.
Morning, Mr. James.
Morning, Bobby.
Beautiful.
Morning, Mr. Purcell.
Morning, Mrs. Jones.
Morning, Mr. Purcell.
Morning, Mrs. Walker. Been doing your shopping?
Oh, aye. Busy day today.
Busy day today.
How's family, Mr. Hurt?
Very well.
Good.
In fact, the kids are playing around here somewhere. The missus went into town and lumbered me with the little devils. I've never known kids get up to so much mischief.
Oh, they're all right, Mr. Hurt. You're very lucky.
Oh,
Kids are only kids, aren't they?
Yeah, well, anytime you fancy taking a couple off the hands, you're welcome.
Oh, I remember that.
John!
No harm done.
Hello, Dad.
Oh, hello, Dad, mate. Where's the rest of the tribe?
Hello.
I warned you this morning when you came out with me. No bother.
No, Dad.
And don't no Dad, mate.
Yes, Dad. Who are there?
Oh, hello. If you've come for the Manchester train, you've just missed it. Sorry.
We haven't come for any train.
What have you come for then?
You come to look at the station, that's all.
I haven't seen you three round here of all.
We only arrived last night. We're staying at the Three Chimneys cottage.
Oh, so you're the ones. Mrs. Farnie was telling me all about you. Where are you from?
We're from London.
Oh, so that's why you don't talk proper.
He's pulling your legs, taking a notice.
And anyway, we do talk properly.
Oh, Lord, listen to her.
Now give over, John, and just show some respect. Hey, look what dog's brought in.
What dog?
You what, son?
Where's the dog? You said, look what the dog's brought in.
It's an expression, Peter. He doesn't mean, look what the dog's brought in. He means, look what, well anyway, it's an expression.
How stupid.
Come here, you lot. I'd like you to meet some new friends. What are your names?
I'm Peter. I'm Phyllis.
I'm Roberta, but everyone calls me Bobby.
That's a boy's name. No, it isn't. I've got a friend called Bobby and he's a lad.
It can be either. Now stop arguing. You've only just met.
Well, it's a boy's name.
Will you stop arguing and introduce yourselves to Peter, Phyllis and Roberta? You've met John already. It's the elders.
Hiya.
Hello. I'm Alfred. Hello.
I'm Edith.
Hello.
I'm Bert.
Hello, Bert. I'm Emma. And I'm Joy. Hello.
Good. And I'm Purcell. Now, how long will you be staying at Three Chimneys?
We don't know.
Until Father comes home.
All right. And where is your father?
He's working away.
He has a very important job with the government.
Does he now? And what sort of job's that?
It's very secret.
Then it must be important.
It is.
Any road. I've an important job to do around here and all. And the station must be on me back unless I get on with it. And remember what I said, no mischief.
Yes, Dad.
Hey, look up there. Stop that. It's only a bit of fun. It isn't funny at all.
No, it's horrid.
It's only a joke.
It's all right, Roberta. I'm not hurt.
You could have injured his back.
I said I'm sorry, haven't I? You're worse than your man.
You should have more sense at your age.
Give over, will ya? Did she talk funny?
No, we don't. You do. We all talk like this round here. So you're the one who talks funny. Yeah, you're the one who talks funny. So there. So there.
There's only Miss Johnson who talks like you round there.
Who's Miss Johnson?
She's our teacher.
Do you all have the same teacher?
Yeah. And do you only have one teacher?
Of course we do.
Are you all in the same class then? Yeah. Oh, that must be jolly good fun. We do reading, writing, and arithmetic. Except she can't read yet.
be rich. But Mummy says we're poor now.
Mummy! She says we have to watch all our pennies.
You don't look poor. Why are you poor? You see, while our father's working away, he can't afford to send us any money. Why not? He just can't. Where is he? He told you, he's working away. Where though? A long way away. How long is he going to be away? Mother doesn't know. She said it could be some time. You see, it's all very secret because it's the government.
We come to our school one day then? Oh no, Mummy says we don't have to go to school. She's going to teach us. No school? No, I wish our dad gone away so we could miss school.
No, you don't.
I do. I hate school. I hate school and all. It's horrible.
You should feel yourselves very lucky that you have your father at home with you. We wish we do, don't we?
Yes, we do. Well, I still hate school. I'd like school if there weren't any teachers. Yeah, so would I.
Don't be daft. If there weren't no teachers, there would be no school.
Exactly. Listen.
It's a 10:15 to London. London?
That's where Daddy is. Maybe we could wait there on the train. The passengers will wait to Daddy.
Don't be daft. I think it's a good idea. It's stocky. Are you three simple, Summer? And don't be rude, John.
Here it comes.
All aboard for the 10:15 express to London.
Come on, wave. Did you see that old gentleman in the first class compartment? He waved to us. Do you know him, Mr. Perks?
I know him from here upwards, but I couldn't even tell you if he's got a pair of legs. I've never seen him wave in my life before.
Perhaps he likes us.
Aye, perhaps he does. Any road, you kids. I want you back in the house in 10 minutes.
Oh, Dad.
Don't oh Dad me. Your mum's due back from town in a quarter of an hour.
We better be going home as well.
I expect I'll be seeing a fair bit of you three then, will I?
Perhaps if you don't mind our coming to visit the station.
Not at all. You're welcome anytime.
Oh, Wizzo. Wizzo?
We'll see you then. Very nice meeting you, John. Yeah. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra? Yeah, ta-ra. Oh, ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
After that, we used to come down to the station every day, 10:15 sharp. Each morning, they'd stand on the platform here and wave to the old gentleman.
Send our love to Father. Send our love to Father.
And each day, the old gentleman would wave back to him, regular as clockwork. Their mum used to write short stories, and she tried to sell them. Now, I'm all right at telling stories, but not much use at writing them. Anyway, she was that busy, the three kids only seemed to see her at meal times, and for the first time in their lives, they knew the meaning of poverty.
Phyllis, jam or butter, not jam and butter.
Oh, Mummy.
We can't afford that sort of luxury nowadays, darling.
And when they hadn't enough food, their mum would say,
I'm not too hungry today, my darlings. You have the rest of this.
but now and again, their mum would announce,
I've sold a story, my darlings.
Oh, smashing. That's terrific, Mother.
and they'd all have buns for tea. They loved that, but most times they were like me, couldn't afford nothing fancy. Of course, the way their mum neglected herself, it weren't long before she fell ill, poor thing. She was that badly one morning, she hadn't even the strength to get out of bed.
Hey, Mother. How are you?
I don't know what all the fuss is about. I only have a sore throat, that's all, and a little headache.
Your face is very red.
Oh, well, that's because it's so warm in here.
Mother, it's freezing in here, but you're burning.
I'm perfectly well. A day in bed and I'll be fine.
The doctor will be here in a minute.
Oh, Bobby, I don't know why you wanted to call the doctor. She's busy enough as it is. We shouldn't be bothering her. And anyway, darling, we really can't afford a doctor nowadays.
Would you like a cup of tea, Mother?
No, Bobby, thank you, but I don't want you fussing. I'm perfectly well enough to make my own tea. Oh, that's all.
Oh, now what have we here? Good morning, I'm Dr. Forrest.
Oh, very pleased to meet you. I'm sorry to call you out, Doctor.
Not at all. How are you?
I don't want to be any trouble to you.
And you won't be. Now I'd like you all to leave the room while I examine your mother. I won't be long.
Dr. Forrest spent about 10 minutes examining their mum, and when she came out, she wanted to speak to Roberta.
How is she?
She's going to be fine.
She isn't very ill, is she?
Oh, not at all, but she has influenza.
Is that serious?
Not if we look after her. Now what's your name, young lady?
Roberta.
Well, Roberta, I expect you'll want to be head nurse.
Oh, yes.
Good. Then I'll set down some medicine, light a fire in her room, and make up some strong beef tea, ready for when her fever goes down. She can have grapes now, and beef essence. Oh, and milk and soda water. Oh, and you better get in a bottle of brandy. The best brandy. Cheap brandy is worse than poison. Now, there are one or two other things, and I've written them down for you.
Thank you. Only,
Only what? Come on, out with it.
it's rather hard, you see, to out with it. Because of what Mother said.
What did she say?
She said that I weren't to go telling everyone that we're poor. But you aren't everyone, are you, Doctor?
Not at all so.
I know doctors are very extravagant. I mean expensive. And Mrs. Farnie told me that her doctoring only cost her twopence a week because she belonged to a special club.
Ah.
And I thought I'd ask you. And, oh, Doctor, I don't want Mother to be worried. Can't we join the club as well? The same as Mrs. Farnie. You're not cross with me, are you?
Cross? How could I be? You're a very sensible young lady, and you're not to worry. I shall make sure everything is fine with your mother, even if I have to make a brand new special club just for her.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
So don't worry. Now come with me inside and take that list back up to your mother, and I'll be back to see her soon.
Thank you very, very much, Doctor. Mother, the doctor's given me this list.
I can't afford all this rubbish, my lovely. No, now you go and tell Mrs. Viney to buy 2 pounds of scrag end of neck for your dinner tomorrow, and I'll just have some of the broth. There's a shilling on the sideboard to buy it. Oh, I should like a little glass of water now, and then I'll be perfectly happy. All right?
Yes, Mother. We've got to do something. Mother won't get well if we can't buy all the things on this list.
But we haven't enough money.
She's given me a shilling to buy some scrag end of neck for our tea, but she's going to have the broth.
We can do without the beastly mutton. Bread and butter will support life. People who've lived on less on desert islands many a time. But even if we haven't anything to eat at all, we still won't have enough money to buy all the things on that list.
We must think of some other way.
That's what they did. They thought harder than they'd ever thought before. And after a long, long time, they came up with an idea.
Right, take that down and hold it up high so the old gentleman can see it. And I'll wait at the station. You understand that?
Yes,
Peter.
of course I understand.
Right, come on, hurry, we haven't much time.
And at 10:15, they held high their white sheet with the message, just as the train passed by. And Roberta rushed down to the station and got there as the train arrived.
Lisa, take us there to read it. Lisa, we need help.
Be careful, girl, that's dangerous. I don't know what you were doing, old girl, but you could have got yourself killed.
I'm sorry, Mr. Purcell.
Just you remember in future. You're not up to no mischief, are you?
No, Dad.
That's all right.
What were you doing, any road? Oh, hello.
What were you giving that old gentleman?
Just a note. What for? To help my mother. How is she now? She's still not well. The doctor's given me a list of things she needs to get well, but we can't afford to buy them.
What's that got to do with the old gentleman?
We were asking him for help.
You mean scrounging?
Pardon?
That's scrounging.
What do you mean?
It's like begging.
It never is.
I'd scrunch my mama ill.
Of course you would. And anyway, it isn't scrounging as you call it.
I call it scrounging.
You would.
You don't even know him.
Yes, we do.
Have you ever spoken to him?
Not exactly, but we waved.
What's his name then?
The old gentleman.
Is that his first name or his second?
Anyway, I don't care what you think. I'd do anything to make sure my mother gets well again. So there.
We didn't mean it. We didn't. It's just that, well, you're a bit stuck up sometimes, aren't ya?
What do you mean?
You're a snob.
Oh no, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You think you're too good for us, don't ya?
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
Well, you're not like us though, are ya?
I've never thought about it.
Well, you're not. Is your mum going to be alright?
Yes. If you can get all the things she needs on this list.
Can we help?
I don't think so. But thank you. John, would you say you were poor?
We're not rich.
But are you poor?
No, of course we're not. My dad would go spare if he had to say that.
Why?
He just would.
Have you got a big house?
It's a station house. It's big enough. 3 bedrooms. 3.
For 8 of you?
That's big enough. Mum and Dad have their room with the baby. Edith, Emma and Joan share a bed in theirs. And me and my brothers have a bed in ours.
You all sleep together?
Yeah? What's wrong with that?
Nothing. But it can't be very comfortable.
It's all right, as long as you all turn over at the same time. Anyway, let's go in to our...
That evening, a big grey hamper was delivered to the station with a note to take it to the children at 3 Chimneys Cottage. And that's what I did.
It's Mr. Parks with the large hamper.
They must be from the old gentleman.
Oh my God, the hills don't get no smaller. This is from the old gentleman.
Thank you, Mr. Perks. This is wonderful.
I don't know about wonderful, but it were blinking heavy.
Thank you anyway.
It's all right. Any road. I'm out of puff. Now,
I'm awfully sorry. I haven't got twopence to give you like Father does, but
I beg your pardon, young lad.
well, Father wanted 6 twopence to...
I don't want none of your tuppence. I was just about to ask how your mother is, that's all.
Oh, we're terribly sorry.
And I fetched her along a bit of sweetbriar, that's what I was going to say.
It's very kind of you.
Any road. Here you are.
Thank you.
It's all right.
And I really do beg your pardon about the twopence, Mr. Perks.
We'll just forget it, eh?
Yes.
And I wish you all a good night, and hope your mother's better soon.
Come on then, let's get it open.
Oh, there's more here than we asked for.
Peaches!
Port wine.
I'll have some of that.
No, you certainly won't.
A chicken!
Look at these roses.
But what a kind gentleman he must be. And here's a letter.
Read it out.
Dear Roberta, Phyllis and Peter, here are the things you want. Your mother will want to know where they came from. Tell her they were sent by a friend who heard she was ill. When she is well again, you must tell her all about it, of course. And if she says you ought not to have asked for the things, tell her that I say you were quite right, and that I hope she will forgive me for taking the liberty of allowing myself a great pleasure. It's signed GP. I can't read that properly. Well, I think we were right.
Right. Of course we were right.
All the same, I don't exactly look forward to telling Mother the whole truth about it.
We're not to do it until she's well. And when she's well, we'll be so happy that we shan't mind a little fuss like that. Now, take the roses up to her.
Oh, and sweetbriar.
You mustn't forget the sweetbriar.
And within 2 weeks, their man was much better. So they got out another banner, and when the 10:15 came past, Peter and Phyllis were there to greet him. And Roberta rushed down to the station and got there as the train arrived. But the fireworks were yet to come. When their mum was nearly better, they had to tell her what they'd done. Well, it was a right little set to, I can tell you.
Children, how could you do such a thing?
We were thinking of you, Mum. Mummy?
A complete stranger.
We were worried about you.
Well, that's not the point. I feel ashamed.
Why, Mother?
Absolutely ashamed. Who is he? This old gentleman.
He's an old gentleman who we rave to every day over 10:15.
Yes, but who is he?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Oh, Mother.
You've never spoken to him?
He waved.
And what must he think of me? Letting my children beg for me?
It wasn't begging, Mother.
That's exactly what it was.
We're sorry, Mummy.
Yes, we're sorry.
Oh, all right, calm down, my lovelies. I'm sorry I got so angry because I know you don't understand. Now listen to me. It's quite true that we're poor, but we do have enough to live on, and you mustn't go round telling other people of our affairs. It's not right. And you must never, never ask strangers for things. Now you will remember that, won't you?
Yes,
we
we will.
And I shall write a letter to your old gentleman, and I shall tell him that I didn't approve. Oh, of course, I shall thank him too for his kindness. It's you I don't approve of, my lovelies, not the old gentleman. He was as kind as ever he could be. And you shall give it to Mr. Perks, and we'll say no more about it.
So that's what she did. And after, the old gentleman seemed to wave even more than before. And he'd smile at him. And they right wanted to speak to him, but they never would. Of course, they started spending even more time hanging around here. Not that I minded, of course, as long as they didn't stop me working. You were asking about carriages or something.
What are those things that hook carriages together?
Those things, as you call them, are called couplings.
And the pipes that hang over the couplings, what are they for?
They help stop the train.
Oh, John here knows almost as much about railways as I do, don't you, lad?
The other way to stop the train is to pull the communication cord.
What's a communication cord?
It's that thing in the carriage what says £5 fine for improper use. If you were to improperly use it, the train would stop.
What if you used it properly?
The train would stop just the same. But anyway, it isn't proper use unless you're being murdered.
Murdered?
Or something nearly as bad as that.
Are all engines the same?
Good Lord, no. No more than me and you are. Take that little one that went by 10 minutes ago, the one without a tender. That were a tank. She's off to do some shunting further down the track.
Then there's goods engines.
Great big things they are, with 3 wheels each side. Hey up, I can hear the 11:20. Right, you lot, if you'll excuse me, I've work to do. This is the 11:20 calling at all stations New York. Hey up, what's going on here then?
He was putting away in one of them hospitals.
I'd take a peek at him. His eyes. Something not quite right about him.
He's certainly very peculiar.
What's going on then?
He's just been put off train for having no ticket.
Is that right?
What's more, he wouldn't go.
Wouldn't go? Where was he going to?
That's the thing, he don't talk proper. Ask him summat.
Where are you going?
Look at him, see what I mean?
He's frightened, that's all.
Frightened?
You can see it in his eyes.
Ask him another question.
Where are you going to?
See what I mean? Aye, he's not from round here.
Where are you from? That's a funny old accent.
Is he from London?
They don't even talk that funny in London.
Maybe he's French.
No, it's in French.
Well, what is it then, clever cogs?
I don't know what it is,
with French if you know so much about it.
All right, I will. Parlez-vous français? Parlez-vous français?
Je parle français. Je suis malade. Aidez-moi, je vous en prie. Je me perds. J'ai besoin de secours. Je suis sans ressources. Je ne comprends pas.
There. Now that's French. He can speak French, but he isn't French.
What does he say?
Oh, I don't know. He speaks too quickly.
Are you French?
Je ne comprends pas, monsieur.
Mr. Perks, why don't you take him aside? He's frightened by all of these people.
Why should he be frightened if he's naught to hide? Aye, that's what I say.
Look at him, Mr. Perks. Mother will be here in a minute. She speaks very good French. Let's wait for her.
I say let's call the police.
Yes, hand the fella over to the police.
Why? He's done now wrong.
Yeah, it's a madman if you ask me.
Mr. Perks, please.
Yeah, leave him be.
All right, you lot, get back.
I know a few French words. Let me speak to him.
I suppose it won't do no harm.
I'll try and tell him that my mother speaks French, and that he mustn't be afraid because we're kind. Vous attendre. Ma mère parle français. Nous... What's the French word for being kind?
Oh, bon, it's good.
Nous être bon pour vous.
Oh, merci. Merci.
There, you see?
Here's Mother now. Mummy.
Mother, you've got to help us with your French.
What's going on here? Sorry, Poppy? Oh, and who's this?
That's what we'd all like to know, man.
He's foreign, Mother.
But he can speak French.
So he isn't French, and we can't understand him.
And what's more, he hasn't got a ticket.
We think he's up to no good.
He's only frightened, that's all.
Well, give me some room, I'll see what I can do. Où habitez-vous? À Campé.
Le Rousse,
Qu'est-ce que vous faites ici?
j'ai abordé ce train en erreur et je fis perdre mon billet, madame. Je suis malade.
Well, then,
He's Russian. Yes.
he's got on the wrong train, hasn't he? He should have changed the crew for us.
He says he's lost his ticket. He also says he's very ill, although I haven't been able to work out what's wrong with him.
Aye, it's the plague.
I can assure you it's nothing of the sort. Mr. Perks, if you don't mind, I'd like to take him home with me. He seems very worn out, and I'll send one of the children for Dr. Forrest. Is that all right?
Fine by me, ma'am. I wouldn't know what to do with him anyway.
Of course, I'll let you know tomorrow how things are.
Fine by me. Go on now. Circus is over for today, and that includes you lot.
Bobby, would you run down and fetch Dr. Forrest?
Yes, Mother.
And Phil and Peter, you come home with me.
Yes, Mother.
Roberta rushed down to Dr. Forrest and, almost out of breath, explained what had happened and said she was to come as quick as possible. And when they arrived back at the cottage, the Russian bloke was already in bed. What a palaver it all was.
This man seems worn out, mind and body.
It's such a terrible shame. What about his cough?
Well, that can be cured, but keep a fire lit in here at night. He seems very poorly clothed. Do you have anything he could wear?
I should be able to dig something up.
Good.
Oh, and thank you for coming at such short notice, Doctor. We always seem to be calling on you.
Daddy's clothes. What are Daddy's clothes doing here? Mother? Yes, darling? Daddy isn't dead, is he?
My darling, no. Of course he isn't. What makes you think that? Bobby, when you go away for a short time, do you take all your clothes with you?
No, but...
Then no buts. Your father was quite well last I heard from him. And I promise he'll come back to us someday.
But when, Mother?
As soon as he can, darling. Now stop worrying. Monsieur? Êtes-vous à l'aise?
Oh oui, merci.
Avez-vous besoin de quelque chose?
Rien, merci. Je suis bon.
She's a right little warrior, is Roberta. Anyhow, it was after they'd had something to eat, their mum told them all about the rushing.
Make a nice long story of it, Mother.
Oh, I can't make a long story of it tonight.
Oh, Mummy.
Because I'm very tired.
Well, make it as long as you can.
It's a story long enough to fill a whole book. He's a writer. He's written wonderful books. In Russia, with the Tsar, one dare not say anything about the rich people doing wrong, nor what ought to be done to help the poor people and make them better and happier. If one did, one would be sent to prison.
But they can't. They can only go to prison when they've done wrong.
Or when judges think they've done wrong. That's so in England, but in Russia it's different. And he wrote a wonderful book about poor people and how to help them. I've read it, and there's nothing in it but good and kindness. And they sent him to prison for it. 3 years in a horrible dungeon with hardly any light, all damp and dreadful. 3 years all alone.
Mother, that can't be true now. It sounds like something out of a history book, the Inquisition or something.
Well, it is true. It's all terribly true. Well, then they took him out of prison and brought him to Siberia, a convict chained to other convicts. Wicked men who'd committed all sorts of horrible crimes. A big, long chain of them. And they walked and walked and walked for days and weeks until he thought they'd never stop walking. And the overseers went behind them with whips.
Whips?
Yes, whips to beat them if they fell down. And some of them went lame. And when some of them couldn't get up and go on, they beat them and left them there to die.
That's awful, Mother.
Well, he was saying how he thought one day all the poor people would rise up against the rich, and they'd fight and fight until all men, all women, and all children were equal.
But that's wonderful.
Yes, well, he was saying a lot of people are talking this way. And one day it will happen, and one day everyone will be free and everyone will be equal.
Mummy,
Yes.
were we once rich?
Well, not rich, but very comfortable.
But we weren't horrid like those rich Russian people, were we?
Oh, I hope not, darling.
If I were rich again, I would share out all of my money with the people who are poorer than I, like Mr. Purcell and Mrs. Purcell and their children.
How did he escape?
Well, at last they got to the mines, where he was condemned to stay for life. For life, just for writing a good, noble, honourable book. But his friends managed to get a message to him that his wife and children had escaped and come to England. But he was allowed to volunteer as a soldier. He deserted at the first chance he got.
But that's very cowardly, isn't it? To desert, especially when it's war.
Do you think he owed anything to a country that had done that to him? He owed more to his wife and children. He didn't know what had become of them.
He must have been so miserable.
Oh, he was. Well, when he deserted, he came here straight away to find them. And that's when he got on the wrong train and lost his ticket and wallet.
And he got their address.
No, just England.
Oh, I do hope he'll find him. His wife and children, not the ticket and wallet.
So do I. I hope and pray he'll find his children again someday.
Oh, how very sorry he seemed to be for you.
Yes.
The Russian book were better the next day. And the day after that, still. And on the third day, he were well enough to go into the garden. The three children looked at him as if he'd just dropped out of the sky. They wanted to be friendly with him. Then Phyllis had a good idea.
Wouldn't it be absolutely lovely if we picked him wild strawberries?
Oh, rather. What a spiffing idea.
I think the ones we saw last week should be quite ripe by now.
Phyllis, for a girl, you sometimes come up with splendid ideas.
Horrid boy!
Now don't be too late. I've packed you some sandwiches as it's quite the walk.
Thank you.
And get back before it gets dark.
Yes, Mother.
We must be there soon. We can't have missed them.
I remember this part, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm ever so tired. Oh dear, my bootlace is coming down again.
It's getting quite late, you know.
Where's me?
I'm sure they were here somewhere.
I think a bit further on.
Well, it's so dark. We'll have to go back soon.
What was that?
Nothing.
I thought I heard a voice.
Don't be silly. Out here.
Oh, they're here. The strawberries are here. And they're ripe. Look at them.
These are supposed to be for our Russian gentleman.
Oh, he won't mind our having if he's such a gentleman.
And they are scrumptious.
Scrumptious.
Who is that?
I told you I heard a voice.
What is it, Mommy? What is it? I'm frightened.
All right, John, you can come out now. John!
Oh, you horrid things. You really frightened me.
They didn't frighten me.
Boo! Oh. How long have you been following us? Since the other side of the hill. What's that? Sandwiches for a picnic. Oh, great.
They're not for you.
You're only joking, Phyllis.
It was a horrid joke.
Anyone, I don't like strawberries. I do.
So do I.
What's in there? Sandwiches for a picnic. Oh, great.
They're not for you.
Phyllis, remember,
Phil's quite right. They're not.
remember what our Russian gentleman said? What did he say? That we were to share things out fairly.
I'll go along with that, since we've got booties.
What's up, booties?
I'll show you.
Please.
That will be a booty. A cheese booty, in matter of fact. And very nice too.
Very well. You may all have a butty.
Oh, I don't think I like sharing. I'm still hungry.
What was that?
It's that tree. Yeah, it's walking.
Walking?
No!
The whole bank's moving. That tree's going to fall. It's gone all over the line.
Isn't that dangerous? Of course it's dangerous, stupid.
Don't call my brother stupid. Stop arguing. We haven't the time.
I'm frightened. What are we going to do?
Can we go back to the signal box and tell them? I don't know. What time is it? By the dark, it must be 6:30 by now. It must. That means the 6:40 can be due past there any minute now.
Unless it's already gone.
It can't have done. No train's passed us in the last half hour, has it? No.
What are we going to do?
I don't know. But we must be the only ones who know about it.
Did they pull us all off the line?
Well, no shift that, though. It's too heavy.
We need something white to flag them down. I've got a hanky. They'll never see a hanky.
What if he shouts?
They'll never hear us. I've got a white petticoat. We could use my white petticoat. Ha! That's a great idea. Turn around. You mustn't look. Hurry up.
Come on, Bobby. Come on.
Right, turn around now. Stay in the line and hold it up high.
And so, on behalf of the railway, on behalf of all those fortunate passengers whose lives were saved by the courageous deeds of our brave young children, I would like to say thank you very, very much. And as a token of our esteem and gratitude, I would like to make a presentation. Roberta has already spoken to me, and she has explained that in all there were 9 children involved in saving the train. So if she would like to come up with her brother and sister, Peter and Phyllis, I will make the first presentation. Oh, thank you. And now, John, Alfred, and Edith, will you come up? Finally, but not least, of course, Bert, Emma, and Joan. And thank you all very much for coming.
Isn't it splendid?
Terrific.
It's going! And listen to it ticking. Who's going to keep it though? That's what I'd like to know.
We'll all have to share it.
You mean break it into 3?
No, silly.
I'm only joking, Bobby.
Today, Peter, you can have the pot. Tomorrow, Phyllis is your turn, and the day after, it's mine, and so on. What do you think?
What a jolly good idea. Though I still think we should find out what to eat instead of all the Perks children.
Phyllis, sometimes you can be so selfish. That wouldn't have been fair at all, would it?
Yes, it would.
Have you not listened to a word Mr. Shapansky has said?
No, I can't speak French or Russian.
You know exactly what I mean.
She does have a point, Bobby. It was your petticoat, and you waved it, and you stood on the line and nearly killed yourself.
But they were there, and they waved and shouted and screamed just as much as we all did.
Yes, I suppose you're right. As usual. Oh, Bobby, sometimes you're too fair. Who's that?
Where?
Surely it can't be.
Oh, it is!
Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon.
How very nice it is to meet you, sir.
And how very nice to meet you at last.
I'm Roberta.
I'm Phyllis. And I'm Peter.
What are you doing here, sir?
Well, I came here especially to meet you. I heard about the presentation, and I wanted to come and thank you personally.
Why?
Well, for helping to save my life.
Save your life?
Yes.
How?
Well, I was on with the other passengers on the 6:40 train.
Oh, you weren't.
I was.
We didn't know.
I was sitting right at the front of the train, and if I hadn't have been killed, then certainly I would have been very badly injured.
Oh, how terrible.
Well, it wasn't so terrible. In fact, in the end, it was quite an adventure.
But you could have been killed.
And so could many others. But thanks to you and your friends, we weren't. So thank you very, very much indeed.
Not at all.
A pleasure. Absolutely.
And if there's anything that I can ever do to help you or your mother, I will certainly do my best.
Really?
Why? Is there something I can do?
Well, yes. There may be something you can help us with.
Well, if I can.
You see, we have a Russian gentleman called Shapansky staying with us at present. You see, he's coming from Russia because he's escaped from Siberia for being locked up for writing a book all about poor people. And he's come here to find his wife and children because they're over here somewhere, but he doesn't know where. And he's ever so sad and lonely for them because he can't find them. And we'd give anything if you could help find us for them. Wouldn't we?
Yes, we would.
Even our gold watch.
Yes, we... Oh.
We would.
What did you say his name was? Frying Patsy or something?
No, Shapansky. SZCZSCEPANSKY. And you call it Shapansky.
Shapansky? Oh, bless my soul.
You do know him.
I read his book. It's been translated into all the European languages. It's a fine book, a noble book. Oh, dear me, yes. And your mother took him in.
Yes,
Well, what a wonderful woman your mother must be.
of course she is.
And what a very good man you are.
Oh, and you are a little flatterer. Shall I tell you what I think of you?
Oh, please don't.
Why not?
I don't exactly know. Only, if it's horrid, I don't want you to. And if it's kind, I'd rather you didn't.
No. Well, I'll just say this, that I'm very glad you asked me about this. I think that you may find that I have something to tell you very soon. You see, I know a great number of Russians living in London, and of course, all the Russians know his name. Now, tell me all about yourselves. Yes, we've got lots of time before my train arrives.
Well, like a right good gentleman, he was true to his word. And it was one sunny afternoon, a few weeks later, that he arrived back and went straight round to the cottage.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon.
You must be the mother of Roberta and Phyllis and Peter.
Yes, and you are...
Ah, I am the gentleman that your three lovely children waved to each morning.
Oh, really? Well, how very pleased I am to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
And I about you.
The children will be so pleased. This is a lovely surprise.
Well, I've come round here for a very special reason.
Oh?
Did the children not tell you?
Mr. Shapansky?
Yes.
You found his wife and children?
Yes, they're living in London.
Oh, this is wonderful news. Well, we must tell them at once. And the children, of course. Excuse me. Bobby, Phyllis, Peter. Oh, come quickly. Bring Mr. Shapansky. Oh, this is so exciting. I don't know how to thank you enough. Bobby, Phyllis, Peter.
Mummy?
Oh, hello.
We have some wonderful news. Go and fetch Mr. Shapansky. He's reading in his bedroom.
You found his wife and children?
Yes.
Oh, how super!
And are they quite well?
They are quite well.
Oh, how wonderful.
And when I told them where your Russian friend was living, they got so excited they could hardly wait to see it.
Oh, yes, I can imagine. We must pack his things at once. Phyllis, could you go and pack Mr. Shapansky's items? Oh, what time is the next train?
Oh, 15 minutes. I've telegraphed the family in London so they can meet him at the station.
This is such wonderful news.
Hello, you see me?
Monsieur Shapansky, votre famille,
Oui.
ils sont sains et saufs.
Grâce à Dieu. Oh, merci beaucoup. Merci, merci. Oh,
Tell him about his train, Mother.
Oh, yes, Monsieur Shapansky, le train partit en 15 minutes. Yes, 15, you must
Merci,
go.
merci.
You must go, Mr. Shapansky, go.
15.
Yes, 15.
A train.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Are you ready? Let's go pray.
oui, merci.
We'll see you again, we hope.
Au revoir. Au revoir.
Yes, I hope so. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bien sûr. Merci.
Oh, isn't that exciting? He's going to meet his children again after all this time.
Yes, it's very exciting.
The baby must have grown such a lot since he last saw her.
Yes.
I wonder whether Father will think I've grown. I have grown, haven't I, Mother?
Yes, darling, you have.
And so have I, Mother, haven't I?
Yes, Peter.
Oh, I do hope Father will still recognise us when he comes home. He will, won't he, Mother?
Yes. Yes, I'm sure he will.
Come on, you two. Let's race down to the fence and wave to the train as it passes. Come on, I'll beat you both.
Oh, no, you won't!
Well, I hope they stay off the line.
Mother, are you all right?
Yes, I'm quite well. Why do you ask?
Just wondering. Are you going to miss Mr. Shapansky?
Yes, I imagine I will. Although I'm very happy for him.
Yes, so am I.
Bobby, do you think Phil and Peter are forgetting Father?
No, why?
Well, today was the first time in a very long time that they've even mentioned him at all.
We often speak about him when we're by ourselves.
But not to me. Why?
Well,
Bobby,
yes.
tell me, why?
Well, I thought you were so unhappy about Father not being here that I stopped talking about him.
You're a lovely, thoughtful girl, Rebecca.
I hate to see you unhappy.
Bobby, I'll tell you. Aside from parting, your father and I have had a great sorrow. Oh, it's terrible, worse than you could possibly think of. And at first it did hurt to hear you all talk of him as if everything were just the same. But it would be much, much more terrible if you were to forget him completely. That would be worse than anything.
Oh, I could never forget him, Mother.
And you will keep thinking of him.
Oh, I do. Only
Yes.
the trouble that you and he have had, it won't last always, will it?
No. No, my dear, it won't.
And Father will return home, won't he?
Yes, he will.
I wish I could comfort you all.
Oh, darling, you do. Do you think I haven't noticed how good you've all been? Not quarrelling nearly as much as you used to. And all the kind little things you do for me, like helping in the kitchen and the garden.
But that's nothing, Mother.
It is to me, darling. It's a great deal.
Oh, I do love you, Mother.
I love you very much. Now, you're not going to tell the others, are you?
No.
Good. And thank you for helping me with the washing.
So now she knew. Her mum was hiding some terrible secret from her. Of course, she didn't dare ask. She wanted to know, yet she didn't. And things might have stayed that way, except for one tiny twist of fate. It all started down at the station. That's a right pretty brooch you're wearing, Phyllis.
Yes, it belonged to Mother. I always liked it, and so she gave it to me for my birthday.
Oh, have you had a birthday?
Yes. When's your birthday, Mr. Parks?
My birthday? I gave up keeping birthdays before you were born.
But you must have been born sometime, even if it was 20 years ago, or 30, or even 50.
Yeah, not quite as long as 50, miss, if you don't mind. Tell you the truth, I'll be 35 on the 15th of this month.
Then why don't you keep it?
Because I've other things to keep than birthdays.
Oh, really? Do you mean secrets?
No, the kids and the missus, that's what I mean. And talk of the devil, now you've been.
Mum told us to get from under our feet.
Oh, so she sent you down here to get undermined, did she?
Do you want, Dad?
That'll make a change.
Mr. Burks, is the ticket office open?
I'll be right with you. If you must play anywhere, go and play on the railway line.
But isn't that dangerous? Playing on the railway line?
You were only joking.
You always pull us out of leg, Dad. Did you know it's his birthday next week?
Is it?
Didn't you know?
He never keeps birthdays, Dad.
No, Mum. Well, don't you ever buy him presents and things then?
With what?
We can't afford it.
Well, everyone should celebrate their birthday. We always do.
Me Dad says, when you get to his age, there's now to celebrate.
He's 35, you know. Is he that old? He's ancient, isn't he? No, he's not. You're only ancient if you're 36 years old.
Anyway, are you two ready?
Where are you going? Down and down. Let's Kolind. Oh, rather. Does that mean yeah?
Not at the moment, thank you.
I'll come.
No, you won't, Peter. I want to talk to you.
Oh, Bobby. What about?
We'll follow you on in a few minutes.
Right, see you then.
Why can't we go now?
I his birthday. I think we should do something special for him because he's been so kind to us. And well, everyone should celebrate their birthday.
Here. Well, all right. But what do you suggest?
I don't know.
We could make him a big card with happy birthday on it.
Yes, we could, but it's got to be even more special than that.
Oh, I know.
What?
Mr. Purcell is very popular, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Everyone in the village knows him, and they all say hello to him.
Yes.
So, there must be lots of people in the village who want to give him things for his birthday. Oh, yes!
I'm not so sure we should do that, Peter.
Why not?
Remember what Mother said? That we weren't to ask people for things.
For ourselves, she meant. Not for other people. That's true. Yes, if I'm Mr. Purcell, I like to give him lots of presents.
I'm still not sure we should do that, Peter. What if Mr. Purcell thinks it's meant for charity, like Mother did?
Oh, Bobby. It's different for birthdays. Presents aren't charity.
No, you're right, Peter.
Oh, terrific!
I think it's a jolly good idea.
Oh, spiffing. I say, let's not bother with the canal. This is much more exciting.
Of course, I knew nothing about any of this. Blinking good job and all. The little beggars had been right through the whole village, top to bottom. There was no one they hadn't called on, nor no one who hadn't coughed up something. A tobacco pipe from the sweet shop, half a pound of tea from the grocer's, a faded woolen scarf from the draper's, one that had been in the window too long like, and a stuffed squirrel from the doctor. Now, what they thought I was going to do with that is anybody's guess. Anyway, they collected the whole lot together, and on the day of my birthday, up they trotted to the station, carrying the gifts in a pram Mrs. Ransom had given them.
Where's your father? He's off on the line somewhere. What's that?
Their presents being collected for his birthday. Collected?
Who from?
People in the village.
What do you mean? You went round asking things for Dad?
Yes, why?
It is going to be a surprise for him. I think I'll keep out the road.
Why?
You'll find out. You lot better coming up.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
You will.
Oh, where are you lot going to?
Out.
Oh, hello, what are you doing here?
We've bought Mr. Perks some presents for his birthday.
His birthday?
Yes, he's 35 today.
Yeah, I know, it reminded me this morning. Don't know what put it into his head to think of such a thing. I mean, we keep the kids' birthdays and all, but me and him. And you say you've got him some presents?
Yes, they're all in there.
What, all these?
Yes.
Goodness gracious me, I don't believe it. Let me see. Really, all these?
Yes.
Perks?
Yes.
Really? Oh, it's just too much.
Too much presents?
Oh, no, it's wonderful, it's wonderful.
Oh, then I wish you wouldn't cry so.
Oh, I don't believe it, I really can't believe it. I mean, wait till he sees all these presents. Perks has never had a birthday like this, never in his life. Sorry, you'll forgive me, won't you? I mean, not even when he was a kid. I've been saving up to buy an ounce of his favourite tobacco, but now what with all these presents? Oh, what can I say? I don't know, I really don't know.
Don't say anything, Mrs. Perks. We're glad you're pleased, and we hope Mr. Perks will be just as pleased.
Pleased? Wait till you see his face.
And what are you lot doing round here?
Nothing, Dad.
That'll make a change.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Oh, how very much. How very much indeed.
Oh, he's here now.
Oh, I think we should surprise him and hide.
What a jolly good idea. Where can we hide, Mrs. Perks?
In the office.
You tell him about the presents, but give him the tobacco first. And then when you've told him, we'll come out and shout many happy returns.
Now then, lass.
Oh, happy birthday, Albert.
Well, what a birthday this is. Birthday, remember? Now you. Hey, look. What's this pram doing here?
It's a present, Albert.
A present? And what's all this lot in here?
Their presents and all, love, isn't it wonderful?
Who from? All the world and his wife? You didn't buy all these, did
No,
you?
I can't afford all that lot. Here, this is my present.
So who's all this lot from?
They're from the children.
What? Our children? How can they afford...
No, not ours. The children from the 3 Chimneys.
What?
Yes.
All this lot?
Isn't it wonderful?
All this lot from them children? I can't take all this.
Why not, Albert?
Why not? You ask why not? Who do you think they are? Why, they're heirs and graces, handing out charity.
They're not charity, they're just presents.
Handing out charity like there was lords and ladies.
Shush, Albert.
A present, one present, but with all this lot, it amounts to that more than charity. Well, I'm not having it.
Oh, Albert, please.
I won't have it.
Can you be quiet? They're in the ticket office listening.
Oh, are they? I'll give them something to listen to. Right, you 3, come out and tell us what you think you're up to. Come on.
Oh, Mr. Parks, I thought you'd be pleased.
Pleased? When have I ever complained of being short of anything, eh? Tell me that.
You've not, Mr. Perks, but they're presents. And people give presents on birthdays. What's wrong with that?
Now, wrong with it. A present, one present, but when you've heaps and heaps of them like this...
But they're not all from us.
Oh, no.
They're from all sorts of people in the village, only we forgot to put labels on them.
People from the village?
Yes.
They've never given me presents before, so who put them up to it?
Why, we did, of course.
Well, that is marvellous. That is blinking marvellous. So you've been round telling the neighbours we can't make both ends meet?
I don't think they meant it, Albert.
No, we didn't.
Whether they meant it or not, they did it. How can I hold my hand up in the village now after this lot?
I thought we were friends.
So did I. I don't call this no friendship, showing me up like this.
We didn't mean it, Mr. Perks. Honestly, we didn't.
We didn't, honestly.
Now look what you've done.
Serves him right.
I hope you're satisfied.
You've got it all wrong, Mr. Perks.
Oh, have I indeed?
People gave you presents, not from charity, but because they liked you.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
If you won't even listen.
To what?
You're a stubborn old fool, Albert Perks, sometimes. Why don't you listen for once in your life?
Huh?
Yes.
All I wanted to say was that, well, everyone who gave you a present passed on a message to you.
Huh?
Go on, love, he's listening.
Well, these are clothes from Mother for your youngest. She said, I'll find some of Phyllis's things that she's grown out of. If you're quite sure Mr. Perks wouldn't be offended and think it's meant for charity, I'd like to do some small thing for him because he's been so kind to you.
Your mum's a born lady. I'll give her that. All right, we'll keep the clothes.
Then the gooseberries and the perambulator from Mrs. Ransom. Mrs. Ransom said, I dare say the Perks children had liked these gooseberries, and she told me to tell you that the pram was her little Emma's, who died after 6 months, and that she'd love to see it used.
We can't give that back, Albert.
Am I asking you to?
Oh, then the shovel from Mr. James. He said it was a great pleasure to make a small thing for a man what is much respected.
I suppose James is a good enough fella.
And then the honey and the bootlaces. Mrs. Ransom said many was the time you lent her a hand with your garden when you were a lad, and that things like that came home to roost. And Mr. James said he'd do anything for a man who was much respected. And anyone who gave you anything said that they liked you, and it was a very good idea of ours. And no one said anything about charity or anything horrid like that. And I thought you'd love to know how fond people are of you. And I never was so unhappy in all of my life. So, goodbye. I hope you'll forgive us someday. Come on, you two, let's go home.
Now, hold on a sec.
I should think so too.
I happen to have been a bit too hasty.
A bit?
All right, lads. I'm sorry. And we will keep all the presents.
Oh!
I can see you meant well, and to be honest, it's right grand to know you're well respected by your neighbours.
Oh, smashing!
You will stay with tea now, won't you?
Yes.
Happy birthday, Mr. Parks.
Not very much.
Many happy returns, Mr. Perks.
So, right then, let's get these kids in, and we'll have a right good party.
I'll go and get them.
What a fuss you've made over nothing, Albert.
It's not nothing. If a man can't respect himself, then no one else will respect him neither. Here, what a right lovely party we had. Lots of buns and tea, and everyone was jolly and happy. And I've never seen Mrs. Perks laugh so much in all her life. And when we'd eaten all we could, and drank so much tea the missus said it'd be coming out of our ears, we realised how late it was. So Bobby, Bill, and Peter said they'd best be going.
Shall I take this wrapping for you, Mr. Perks, and put it in the bin outside?
Oh, Bobby, that's very good of you. Thank you very much. We'll see you again soon, shall we?
Oh, yes, and thank you for a lovely party. It won't be a minute. I'll just put these...
Come on, Bobby. Mother'll wonder where we are. Bobby, do hurry up. Bobby.
You go on. I'll catch you up.
Why? What's wrong? What's the matter?
I said go on.
Come on, Phil. I don't know what's wrong with her, I'm sure. All that tea's gone to her head.
So now I know. End of trial. Verdict. Guilty. Sentence. 5 years penal servitude. Oh, Daddy, you never did it. I don't believe it. Never. Never, never.
So there we were. Well, what a palaver. That night, their mum knew there was some up.
Hello, darling. Are Phyllis and Peter in bed?
I suppose so.
Come and sit down, Bobby. Are you all right, darling? You've been quiet all evening.
Oh, Mummy.
What is it? Darling, what's the matter? Oh, Bobby. You don't believe it. You don't believe Daddy did it.
No, of course not.
Thank goodness for that. It's not true. They locked him up in prison and he's done nothing wrong. He's good and noble and honourable and he belongs to us. Well, we must remember that and think of him and be brave.
Oh, Daddy. Poor Daddy. But why didn't you tell me, Mummy?
Are you going to tell the others?
No.
Why not?
Because...
Exactly. So you understand why I didn't tell you. We two must help each other to be brave.
Mother,
Yes, darling.
will it make you more unhappy if you told me all about it?
No, it won't.
I'd like to hear, Mother.
Do you remember when we were living in London and those two men arrived to see Father?
So that's when you went away?
Yes. They were policemen. They took him down to the station and charged him with selling state secrets to the Russians.
But he wouldn't.
They called him a spy and a traitor.
Russia. After everything Mr. Shapansky said about Russia, he wouldn't.
Of course he wouldn't. But at his trial they brought up evidence that papers had been found in Father's desk.
What papers?
Papers that proved he was guilty.
Well, someone must have put them there.
Exactly.
But who would do such a thing?
Someone. And that someone is the guilty person.
But who could it be?
Oh, I don't know. But the man under Daddy took Father's job when the awful thing happened. And he was always jealous of your father because Daddy was so clever and everyone thought such a lot of him. And Daddy never quite trusted that man.
Well, couldn't we explain all of this to someone?
Nobody will listen. Nobody at all.
Now, don't you suppose I haven't thought of everything? All we can do, you and I and Daddy, is just be brave and patient and wait.
Mother, you're so brave, knowing all of this and hiding it from us. It's no wonder you look so unhappy sometimes.
Well, darling, we won't talk of all this anymore. We must bear it and be brave. And darling, try not to think of it. It's so much easier for me if you can just be a little bit happy and enjoy things. Will you try?
I'll try, Mother, but it won't be easy.
And it wasn't neither. But she tried, and she put on a brave face, and then she thought very hard about who could help her. Of course, there were only one person, the old gentleman.
My dear friend, you see what is in this paper. It's not true. Father never did it. Mother says someone put the papers in Father's desk. And she says the man under him that got Father's place afterwards was jealous of Father, and Father suspected him for a long time. But nobody listens to a word she says. She was so kind and clever, and you found out about our Russian friend's wife directly. Can't you find out who did the treason? Because it wasn't Father, upon my honour. Oh, do please help me. There is just Mother and me who know, and we can't do anything. Peter and Phyllis don't know. I'll pray for you twice every day as long as I live. If you'll only try, just try to find out. Oh, do help me. I remain your affectionate little friend, Roberta.
Hiya.
Oh, you frightened me.
What are you doing?
Writing a letter.
Who to? Your dad?
No, our old gentleman.
You're not begging of him again, are ya?
No, he's a good friend. I often write to him.
What about?
Anything. Are you going to the station?
I might be.
Would you give this to your father and ask him to hand it to the old gentleman when the train arrives this evening?
All right.
Thank you. John, would you miss your father if he went away?
Dunno. I haven't really thought about it. Suppose so.
You don't know how lucky you are, John.
No. You're all right, really, aren't ya?
What do you mean?
Well, you're not stuck up or out, are ya? Like I thought.
I hope not.
I mean, you do daft things, but you can't help that.
What's going on? It's a paper chase, the local grammar school.
Oh, them. They're dead stuck up, they are.
They won't even speak to us.
That's not very nice.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It isn't very nice at all. They're horrible. Horrible. Oh, here's the hair now! What happens if they catch him? Oh, I don't know. Well, if it's there, maybe they'll eat him. Don't talk daft, Bear. Oh, I wouldn't like to eat him. Here, they can hear the hounds!
His face is red in his jersey. They're headed for the railway tunnel.
Isn't that rather dangerous?
Not if he keeps inside. There's a train coming out of the tunnel!
Oh, I hope they're going to be all right.
Of course they are.
Ooh, where's that lad in the red jersey?
Oh, I hope he's all right.
Maybe he's hurt. Maybe he's lying unconscious. His pale head resting on the rail.
Peter, don't try and talk like a book.
Do you think we should go and have a look for him? I'm not going.
Don't be soppy.
I'm not.
No. I'll go. I'm not scared.
Right, you three best go on then. I think we should go and have a look for him.
I think so too.
Right, I'll go first. Follow me.
And you three go in.
Come on, you three.
It's dark. It's right dark. And it's damp. It's cold.
If you hear a train coming, just press yourselves to the other side. You'll be alright.
I want to go back. I don't like it. It'll be pitch dark in a minute. I won't go in the dark. I don't care what you say. Oh, don't be a silly
light one, Peter.
Very well. There, that's better. It still sounds funny.
Be quiet a minute.
It's a train! Candles gone out.
Light the candle again, Peter.
I'm frightened.
Okay, is everyone all right?
I wish Phil would be such a silly cuckoo. Can we go back now?
No, we must find the boy. Hold my hand, Phil.
What if the red jersey lad was lying on the line? Oh no! Come on, we must go and see. Look! There!
Come on!
Oh, it's him! Is he dead? Is that real blood? Is it Ed? Is only his jersey? Oh, but is he dead?
I think he's only fainted.
Can we move him?
I don't know. He looks rather heavy.
Oh, try and wake him.
But be careful.
Put his hand under one of those chests. That'll wake him up.
Shut up,
What
Bob.
are you saying? I have some milk in my bag.
Oh, wet his ears with milk, Peter. I know they do it with eau de cologne to people who faint. But I expect milk's just as good.
He looks dead to me. Be quiet, Phil.
Oh, don't drown him.
Outlet. Ah!
Oh, thank goodness for that.
He isn't dead. I'll go and get Mother. Where am I?
What happened?
Who are you?
I'm Bobby, and these are my friends. We're in the railway tunnel.
Oh, I remember.
What happened then?
I think I tripped over the wire.
Can you stand?
I'll try. I think I've broken my leg.
Oh dear.
It's a terrible pain.
Well, we're going to have to get you out of this some way or other.
We'll have to carry him. How? Well, me and John are the strongest.
Yeah, you're going to have to stand up, you know. Put your arm around your neck and the other arm down, Fritz.
Be careful.
Ah! Oh, I do hate to hear that. It's no good pull off if it's grown. Will it?
But
Oh, really? I'll see it. Let's see if it's more. How's that? Not that.
where are we taking him to?
We'll take him home with us. Mother will know what to do.
What's your name? My name's Jim. Mother! 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 We found the captain of my jersey at home and they're bringing him home!
Well, they ought to take him to a vet. They can't really have a lame dog here.
He's not a dog, really. He's a boy.
Oh, and he should be taken to his mother.
He's living at the grammar school. And oh, Mother, you must be kind to him. I told him I was sure you wanted to bring him home. See, you always want to help everybody.
Come on.
Hello, Mother.
Well, what have we here?
I'm Jim.
Hello, Jim. So you have a broken leg?
I think so.
Oh, that won't do at all, will it? Now, go and fetch the doctor, Phyllis.
Yes, Mother.
And we must make Jim as comfortable as possible. Bring him through here, boys.
Oh, I do hate to be so much trouble.
Don't be silly, you're no trouble at all. That.
And their man put him to bed. The same bed where the Russian gentleman had stayed.
His mother died when he was only a baby. His father lives in Northumberland, but he does have a grandfather that lives quite near here. We must get a message to him at once, and the headmaster of the school. We must do that immediately. Oh,
More problems?
it's this poor lad here, Doctor. I'm afraid he's broken his leg.
Oh, well, that'll never do. Now, I'd like to ask you all to leave the room while I examine this boy, apart from your mother.
Oh, yes, and I think you'd better be getting home. Your mother and father will wonder where you've got to.
Oh, I wish doctors weren't so stuck up about who they'd have in the room when they're doing things. I just awfully like to see your legs set. I leave the bones crack like anything. Don't! Don't say evil. You say you want to be Red Cross nurses. You can't even stand hearing me say about bones crunching.
Stop it.
You would have heard them crunch on the field of battle. Peter! Cowards!
We're not cowards.
Ah! There. That was a bone crunching.
Oh, Peter, stop it.
You're horrid! Girls!
And right soon, Jim's legs were set, and he was quite cheery. All this excitement I don't take Bobby's mind off her poor dad, locked up in prison for something he never did. Each day, she waited to receive a reply from the old gentleman. And then, after the third day, she had the biggest surprise in store she could ever have imagined. They heard a knock on the kitchen door downstairs, some voices, then their mum called upstairs.
Bobby, Phyllis, Peter, come down here. Jim's grandfather has arrived and he wants to see you. Quickly!
Hello? Oh, hello.
Hello, children.
Oh, hello. Well, I never. It's our old gentleman.
Phyllis?
That's all right.
Oh, I'm so awfully glad it is you.
When you think of all the old gentlemen there are in the world, it could have been almost anyone.
I say, though, you're not going to take Jim away now, are you?
Not at the present.
Oh, I see, that's spiffing. We're becoming ever such good friends. And it's much more fun talking to a boy.
Peter.
Well, it is.
Your mother has very kindly agreed to allow him to stay here.
Oh, terrific.
Oh, I was thinking of sending for a nurse, but your mother's good enough to say that she'll nurse him herself.
Oh, spiffing. But what about the writing? There won't be anything for him to read if Mother doesn't write.
Oh, that's all right.
Shall we tell them about our little arrangement?
Certainly.
Your mother has kindly consented to give up writing for a short while and become the matron of my hospital.
Oh, until we have to go away from the three chimneys and the railway and everything.
No, darling, no.
The hospital is called the Three Chimneys, and my unlucky Jim is its only patient.
Oh.
So you see, you will be staying here for some considerable time to come, unless that is something wonderful happens. Now, I must go. And thank you so much for looking after my grandson.
It's a pleasure.
And look after your mother, my dears. She's a woman in a million.
Isn't she?
And Bobby, would you come down to the gate with me?
Of course.
You're a very dear child, my dear. And I got your letter, but it wasn't really necessary. You see, when I read about your father's case in the paper at the time, I had my doubts. But now I've got to know you, I've been trying to find things out. I haven't discovered very much at the moment, but I believe that I have great hopes.
Oh?
Well, in fact, I have very great hopes, but keep this little secret to yourself. We don't want your mother to be upset by a false hope, do we?
But it isn't false. I know you can do it. I knew you could when I wrote to you. Oh, you don't think Father did it, do you? Say you don't think he did.
My dear, I am perfectly certain that he didn't do it. Now, goodbye, and keep your fingers crossed.
I'll keep every one of my fingers crossed.
The next few weeks rolled by right quickly. They all became good friends with Jim, and their mum spent much more time with them than ever before. She read to them, wrote funny little verses for them, and me, well, I never saw eye nor hair of them from one week to the next, except when I called on them.
I wonder if the railway misses us. We never go to see it now.
It seems selfish. We loved it so when we hadn't anyone else to play with.
Yes, and Mr. Purcell is always coming up to ask after Jim, and we sometimes see John, Alfred and the others. The thing I don't like is not waiting to the 10:15 and sending our father on it. Well, look, we should just about catch it. Oh, come on! Oh, I can't hurry, my bootlace has come undone again. Phyllis, when you're married, your bootlace will come undone going up the church aisle, and the man that you're marrying will tumble over and smash his nose on the flagstones. Then you say you won't marry him and you'll have to be old maid. I shan't. I'd much rather marry a man with a nose smashed in than not marry anybody.
All the same, wouldn't it be horrible to marry a man with a smashed nose? Because he wouldn't be able to smell the flowers at the wedding.
Bought the flowers for the wedding. Listen, traitor!
Oh, everyone's waiting. Well. What on earth does that mean?
I don't know. It's most extraordinarily wrong.
And didn't you notice something peculiar about the old gentleman's wake today?
No.
I did. I thought he was trying to explain something to us with his paper.
Explain what?
I don't know, but I do feel most awfully funny. I feel just as if something was going to happen.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. Phyllis's bootlace is going to come undone again. Hurry, boy! Wait till I catch you!
And she did feel funny a lot. Couldn't settle all day. She just knew something was going to happen, if you know what I mean. Couldn't settle tonight. Couldn't read, couldn't write, couldn't even sit in garden. Finally, in the afternoon, she decided she'd walk down to the station. In the village, everyone she passed was smiling and waving, and were ever so friendly. She just couldn't understand it.
God bless you, love. You better hurry, though. It's nearly 3:15.
Good luck to you, love. We're all so happy for you.
Well then, Molly, so you heard?
Heard what?
This. When I read about it in here this morning, I don't think I've been more pleased in my entire life.
Read what, Mr. Purse?
Bobby, we're so pleased for you.
Aren't we? Yes, we are!
What are you talking about?
Right on time. The 3:20 express from London.